up, my fellow mobile gamers? In today's video we got our best guide for the Demon Hunter in Diablo Immortal. Before we get started, subscribe to the channel, notification bell so you don't miss a video, hit the thumbs up button, and if you would like to become a member, you get some cool emotes and a member's badge next to your name in the comment section and live streams. So the Demon Hunter, this is probably the most iconic class when it comes to Diablo. I mean, everybody knows the Demon Hunter. Just want to go over the strengths and weaknesses first, and then we'll go over some builds and the skills and some of the preferred legendary items that you may want to get for this class. So first up, the strengths for the Demon Hunter are the fact that you can move while attacking with one of your primary attacks. The other primary attack you can't, but the first one that you get is very good. You can move while attacking, which is pretty much the bread and butter of the Demon Hunter. Everyone knows that's the calling card for the Demon Hunter, being able to move and attack at the same time. Another benefit to this class is you also are pretty strong for PvP. One of the better classes, I would say, for PvP battles. You also have very strong single target damage as well. Now the downsides to this class is, unfortunately, you are kind of squishy. You can die fast, don't really have a high health pool. Your movement skills are also a bit iffy. I mean, you do have about one or two pretty decent movement skills, so you are a bit more mobile than, say, a class like the Necromancer. Finally, in certain situations, the class can also lack crowd control. It does have like one or two that's not bad, but you do have to get like the upgraded versions, like the legendary items, in order to make those skills really stand out for crowd control abilities. Your best setup when it comes to solo farming monsters is going to be Vengeance, which you unlock once you get to level 50. This is going to buff your damage to elite monsters, boss monsters, which is very strong. Sentry, this is probably one of my favorite skills that you have. You place down an auto turret and it just wreaks havoc and does damage. You can also use it as a meat shield, placing it in front of you so that it draws the aggro of the enemy. And then pretty much, honestly, this is your best ability, multi-shot. Honestly, this is super OP. This is your strongest skill for a Demon Hunter. Honestly, I would say keep this. No matter what build you decide to go, you should always have multi-shot. Multi-shot is just such a strong ability. And then you can finish it up with Daring Swing. This would be your mobility, where you'll swing and you do a little bit of damage, but you can kind of get around the map a lot faster. So this is in particularly good for when you destroy one mob of enemies and you want to move fast to the next area where there'll be more enemies. That way you can keep up your massacre kills, and that way you can get more of that massacre bonus XP. Now when it comes to the best legendary gear, a lot of the best legendary gear for the Demon Hunter is going to be the ones that buff your multi-shot, because again, like I said, multi-shot is your best ability. The first one would be your main hand. It's called Flame Spite, and this is going to make your multi-shot do burn damage, which is really strong as well. For your offhand, you have the Hunger. This buffs your crossbow shot. Then for our helmet, we have Vision of the Lost. For your shoulder, you're going to want to go with Cowl of Absolute Punishment. This is another legendary piece that is going to buff your multi-shot, making it ridiculously strong. Then for your chest, you have Heart of Vengeance. This reduces your vengeance cooldown. Again, vengeance is a really strong skill once you unlock it. Absolutely amazing for farming. And then finally, for your pants, you're going to want to go with Hail Fire. This again is going to buff your multi-shot. All right, now let's take a look at the recommended builds the game gives you. The first one we have is Vengeance. This is pretty much what I was talking about earlier. Our other PvE build we have recommended is Hail of Fire. This is just Rain of Vengeance, Strafe, and Impale. Now, I in particular like Strafe. I think Strafe is a very strong ability, and I actually have the upgraded version because once you do hit level 10 in the battle pass, of course this is in beta, so I don't know if they're going to have this for global launch, but when you hit level 10 in the battle pass, you actually get to choose 100% free to play. You don't even have to spend any money. This is the free to play version of the battle pass. You get a legendary weapon. So, you know, you get to pretty much pick and choose. I, in particular, take the disarray one, which means that my Straff instead throws explosive grenades, each damaging all nearby enemies. I mean, this just basically makes your Straff ability do ridiculous amounts of AoE damage. So again, amazing for farming mobs very, very fast. This is the one that I went with, and I absolutely don't regret it at all. When it comes to the difference between the crossbow shot and the other basic attack, so potentially the explosive arrow can do more damage overall, and again, you get amazing AoE damage for that, and you kind of do like a stutter step if you move while holding it down. So it's not exactly the same as moving with crossbow shot, but it looks very, very similar. So honestly, you honestly can't even really go wrong with that. I would definitely recommend explosive arrow. Just does a ridiculous amount of AoE damage. But again, if you do want to go with that other build, then you would definitely want to take crossbow shot. The Demon Hunter is one of the funnest characters to play in this game. I've been having a ton of fun with it. Now, the recommended PvP build for the Demon Hunter is called Master Trapper. You basically take Knife Trap, which you set down a bomb and it explodes, does AoE damage. Sentry, and then finally Escape to get away when the enemies get close. This is pretty cookie cutter. There's not a lot of like variety to this. You're basically going to be doing the same thing over and over again, setting traps. You need to have the legendary items though that upgrade that ability, so that way your knife traps actually will freeze your opponents, and that way it kind of slows them down and gives them that CC, get that crowd control, and then you're going to put a bunch of turrets behind it, so that way when they are stuck from being frozen, the turrets will just start teeing off on them. It's kind of like that's pretty much all you do. You set traps, you put crossbows, and then you lure your enemy into the trap. You know, anyone who has half a brain is going to pretty much avoid it very easily. So, you know, it's not a bad PvP build, but I will definitely work on something that's somewhat better. But it's, you know, it's a solid thing, and you know, for casual players and stuff, you'll catch them off guard easy, and this is very, very simple to do. I mean, any player, any skill level will be able to pull this off as long as you have the legendary items and the skills equipped. One of the other very strong skills that you do have is called Knockback Shot. You fire a shot, does a bunch of damage, and it knocks back enemies, so you get a little bit of spacing, and if enemies are knocked into obstacles, they actually are stunned for 3 seconds, which is really strong. I mean, if you can pull that off, you have some really good crowd control. I would definitely use Knockback Shot for your PvP build. The only downside to this though is it does have a relatively long cooldown at 12 seconds. Not in particularly for farming mobs, because again, it has a high cooldown and it's just a single target shot. Rain of Vengeance, this is really strong for PvE grinding mobs. You fire arrows into the sky, and then a big circular area, they come down and they just deal damage to all the enemies over 4 seconds. Very strong PvE skill. I use this all the time. I absolutely love it. Now, one of my favorite skills strictly for PvP, you can use it for PvE as well, but it's called Smoke Screen. So you pretty much create a cloud of smoke around you. It conceals you and allies. That's the very important part. It's not just for you, it also benefits your allies. Pretty much hides you and your allies for 2.5 seconds, and you can't be attacked. Of course, when you do attack though from smoke screen, it will then remove that. It gives you a 2.5 second time to get away in case you do get caught off guard. So I absolutely love smoke screen. An amazing, amazing ability for PvP. It lets you and your teammates get out of tight situations. So what I actually run is I run multi-shot, I run the crossbow, I run the rain of arrows, and finally Straff. These are my 4 abilities that I've been running, along with explosive arrows as my primary attack. I absolutely love this little beginner's build, pretty much is what I'm going to call it. I just do a lot of AoE damage, have a little bit of movement, and you know, this is just great so far for farming monsters, farming mobs really quickly. Of course, I don't have like all of the legendary gear and stuff, So that is pretty much it. I hope you guys and girls enjoyed this video. Stay happy, stay safe, my friends, and I'll see you on another video. Peace.